Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary, quite incredible, quite unlike anything you may have experienced in your life.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Takeover Show. I'm your host, Misa, and with me, as always, you already know him. He's owner of Duchi's. He's in love with the tortas. He is a tortanator. Please give it up for my boy, Chuy. Sheesh.
You didn't blow away in that wind, bro.
I know, dude. I know. Weather is a lot better now, because it was kind of crazy lately, bro. It's kind of crazy. Now it's getting hot. But speaking of hot, we got an awesome guest here. Actually, this is probably the second guest that we have that own a business here in El Paso. This business is called the Midtown Spirits, and we're visited by Sylena and Randy Ortega.
Hello.
Sheesh. The triple sound. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking your time. How are you, by the way?
We're doing good.
We're great. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
thank you for
so
coming.
much.
Thank you guys for coming. Before we do get into all this, I do want to give a big old shout out to our partners here at Genuine Reference Studios. Guys, anything sound, anything music, anything podcast, please hit up at Genuine Reference Studios. Now, getting straight into this, Mr. and Mrs. Ortiz, for those who might not know who you guys are, can you guys kind of introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, Randy Ortega and Sylena Ortega.
Sylena Ortega.
Sylena Ortega. Midtown Spirits, right?
Yeah.
Bar and Grill. Is that how you say it? Bar and Grill, bar and restaurant? How's that done?
Midtown Spirits Bar and Grill EPTX.
Yee! Don't forget about the EPTX,
Yes.
Chuy. Don't forget
It's
about
on the
that.
Instagram, Midtown Spirits EPTX.
That's how you guys will find it. Guys, we'll have all those links at the bottom here below. They are located at 2224 East Yandell Drive, guys. Yandell Drive. Go ahead and check that out. I want to really get into it. When we met you guys, shout out to our boy Jason Craig. He had the AM Coffee Club there at Midtown Spirits. That was actually really fun. That was the first time I'd gone to anything like that, especially at that time. You know, I was like, Chuy's like, I'm hungover, dude.
Once you walk in, like at first, I had to ask someone. I was like, "Yo, is this in the back or is this in like?" So they directed us to the back, dude. Atmosphere after atmosphere.
Yeah, I didn't even want to leave the bar to go back. I was like, should we even go to that AM
I think
Coffee
you were
Club
scared
shit?
of Llorona back there.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of cool. I kind of want to get into that. You guys have kind of like the other Los Muertos themed style, right?
Correct.
You guys opened up. You guys just had your 30-year anniversary. Congratulations!
Thank you.
March of 2022.
Yeah, March 14th to be exact. So it's also a very significant day because it would have been my late paternal grandmother's Guadalupe's birthday. So we opened on the day of her birthday. 3 years
Wow,
ago. Yes.
that's even more meaningful. And what's crazy, you say Guadalupe. I feel like everybody's grandma's name is Guadalupe. My grandma was named Guadalupe too.
My madrina's name was Guadalupe.
But mine was called Pita. I called her Pita.
We called ours Fina.
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 Yeah.
Our grandma
Ours
Fina.
is Pita. So, rest in peace, my Pita.
Yeah, rest in peace to her.
But this bar was also, kind of like an homage to her.
Yeah, and the conversation that we had while we were there, what I loved right off the bat, just like they show, that bar is you go in there and you smell, you see everything El Paso, right? And so to start off, I kind of want to ask, what kind of drove you guys to open Midtown Spirits, or what were you guys doing before, or was this just something spontaneous that happened? How did that go?
Yeah, so we have a bar on the east side called Bourbon and Brew, and it's on the corner of George Jeter and Pebble Hills. So we're going on almost 14 years with this bar. Oh, wow. And we couldn't have done it without our partner, Matt Lynch. He's very well-versed, very well-respected in the industry. So he's the one that really kind of catapulted us to move forward with another bar. And he found the spot. We've been looking all over the city for a standalone building, but you know how crazy the property gets around here. But, I think that he couldn't have found a better location than what we have right now.
It's a kind of historical. That place has been up for over 75 years now, right? There's a lot of history with that building.
Yes, it used to be the old Pine Knot.
Right. Yeah. That's what I remember.
What we wanted it to be was something that, even though it's a bar, doesn't look like a bar when you go in. You know, it looks like something where you could hang out with friends, something that reminds you of El Paso, something that makes you feel at home.
Right. And that's exactly how it was.
And you did a great job with the lights, like the way you dim it, the way you have the little LED set up everywhere. It's beautiful, bro. Around the bar,
thanks
around
so
the
much.
Yeah, we were walking through it, and we were looking for the back, right? We wanted to get to the back where the AM Coffee Club was, but it took us a minute, but also because we were just looking at all the stuff you guys had up. La Llorona fucking caught us off guard, dude, just to say.
She's sexy, right?
Yeah, she
I almost
was.
gave her a kiss.
I had to stop him. I had to stop him. I was like, dude, first day here, you can't be doing that shit. Chill the fuck out, Chuy. Chuy's like, I'll leave all the tortas for her.
She's kind of sexy, scary, but that's actually that was a gift given from one of our patrons.
Yes.
Oh,
One of
wow.
our good friends, Jake Baca from Pumping Ink Tattoos.
Hey, shout out to Jake Baca, man.
Yes,
Shout out. We love people that support other people.
Yeah.
Man, so how I mean, being a bar owner now for a while, but opening up a new one, what are the challenges of that? Was that something that you guys were nervous about? Is that something that you guys still kind of are nervous being business owners? How does that go?
Absolutely. It's never easy to own a business, especially a bar, restaurant here in El Paso. But, you know, with the community's help, with our regulars, with our family, friends, and us trying to push events and trying to include the community, like, you know, with the AM Coffee Club, Jason Craig, who's a really well-known DJ around El Paso. I mean, there's so many events that are coming up that we're really just trying to include all kinds of groups, all kinds of genres of music. It's not just, you know, electronic music. It's not just rock, but, you know, even banda, you know, like,
Any music that's El Paso based.
Right,
That's what
right.
we want. Local artists. There's some artwork up at Midtown, and they're all local artists. And any local artists out there, you can put your artwork up, and if it sells, well.
Hey, there it is,
shot,
guys.
give it a
There it
shot,
is,
guys.
man. You know what? I've always loved meeting people, either artists, business owners, that really embrace the culture of our city. You know, I think our city it's a great city, but I think that having to expose that is something that needs work. But also helping each other out, right? Collaborating and like you said, you know, if you're local, you have art, bring it over.
Right, and that's one of the things. We're one of the few places that the artists that perform there, we don't charge them booking fees. We just provide a venue and let them display their music, let them display their art, let them put their art on display for all of El Paso.
No, and I love that. You know what? Shout out to that. Dude. Triple horn for that too, Chuy.
And it's true. I think that's why we've been having a little bit more interest and a little more, you know, people coming by, because they're like, wow, you know, after they play a show, they're like, you're really going to allow us to use your venue for free? And we're like, yes, you know, we're really wanting the community to know that we want to provide a space for them to exhibit their art, their talent, because there's just so much talent in El Paso.
Yep.
And it's untapped, and so we're just really trying to help them out, you know, and exhibit their art, their talent.
In a way, you help me, I'll help you 2 times harder.
Right.
Yeah.
We believe if you embrace the community, they'll embrace you.
I love that. I love that mentality, and that's just kind of pushes local people to actually support. When somebody could relate to a location, even if it's a restaurant or a bar, I think that's very important. I kind of wanted to get it very into detail. The more that I was looking into you guys, especially the food, you know, I know that you guys partnered up with Martin Terrazas, right? Who brought up the Ben's tacos, who he got the receipt from his grandma, Rebecca Terrazas.
Yeah, Martin, say it.
Martin Terrazas. Martin!
Shout out Mr. Terrazas. And then I was looking more into it, you know, from Rebecca Terrazas, who took over the Ben's taco from Ben Garcia, you know. How did you guys decide on that? Because I feel like that's very important, you know, from those tacos, potato and beef roll tacos to the rolled tacos that everybody knows. What made you guys kind of choose that and incorporate it into your bar?
Well, the Ben's Tacos are uniquely El Paso from the Segundo Barrio, so it fit the profile. We've known Martin for a very long time, and he embraced the idea, and it took off.
Damn.
It made me hungry, dude.
The fact that you say it goes all the way back to Segundo Barrio, now they can find it right at your
To the
spot.
all the way to the 1930s. So it's a regionally iconic food.
Flavor, yeah.
Yeah, can you guys tell us a little bit of that history? For those who don't know about the band Tacos, you said Segundo Barrio is when it started. They were like on the corner of Delta or something like that, right?
Yeah, yes, around St. Vrain, in that area, Segundo Barrio. And so, yeah, since the 1930s, this taco recipe has been in existence. And so it was passed down, ultimately wound up in Martin Terraza's hands, and he has been hand rolling those tacos, so it's a very loving, laborious task, but it comes from his heart. It's a recipe that was passed down from his family since the 30s. So, it's iconic, and it's a very much a part of El Paso. We should have brought some tacos over here for you guys. Just be crunching on them.
You know what, guys? We're gonna have to reschedule this shit.
In the days of styrofoam boxes and plastic containers, Ben's tacos were sold in paper bags, and we still pack them in paper bags to go.
Make it original the way it was.
Trying to keep it the way it was.
And it's cool because, going more into it, you guys, a lot of your food is made fresh, but it's also the way it looks. You look at a plate and it feels like home. Like, somebody local, your grandma made this, your mom, something. What for you guys, what's maybe the number one menu item that sells the most or people go to and get? Is it the tacos? Is it the...
It's the tacos. And so we called it Midtown Tacos, but everybody knows it as Don Ben's Tacos. And we even got like this vinyl sign outside that says Don Ben's Tacos. And ever since then, people pass by and they're like, oh my God, no way. Aquí tienen los Don Ben's Tacos. And so, we just had a patron today. He's like, yeah, my mom, unfortunately she passed away, but she had told me something about the Don Ben's Tacos. I brought my dad out here, and now, I'm taking some to go. He's like, I live in California, but I came all this way just to take.
And even with the tacos, like the tortillas, they're not from Sam's. They're from Rotativa, right on Montana.
So even down to the tortillas is something locally made.
Yeah, everything we can get that is local and in the area, that's what we try to do.
That's awesome, and I love that. I love to hear that you import all the community flavor just in those tacos.
Absolutely. Better than getting it from Sam's, better than getting it from Walmart.
Wholesale,
you buy right down there. It's 2 blocks away on Montana.
And boss, what time or what day do you guys sell these tacos?
All day. From 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Every day.
You guys know where we're going after this, dude. What's also awesome is other than that, what other menu items do you guys have to offer in your location?
So as you know, there's a lot of renditions of the rolled tacos or the flautas or whatever people want to dub them. Yeah. But
we're in El Paso. It's in a Paso flavor.
It's in a Paso flavor, yeah. And so, Chico's Tacos started it, but there's been so many of the restaurants and bars that have made their own version of it. And they're tasty and everything. But, I think what separates our flavor from the rest is that, again, they're handmade. And, we get the tortillas locally sourced. Our ground beef is never frozen. We have these ingredients that are
¿Qué más quieren? ¿Qué más quieren, chingado? Las salsas.
Las salsas también están hecho a mano todos los días. Every day they're made by hand, and I think that's just what separates our flavor from everybody else's.
That's amazing. You guys also do have breakfast all day too,
all
right?
day. Huevos rancheros. Yeah, huevos rancheros, papas, potatoes, whether it's hash browns or, they're nice and diced and golden brown and bacon.
We should have eaten before we started this, dude.
We have chicken and waffles. Se te está cayendo la baba.
Sí.
I was waiting for him to go.
What about tortas? Chuy's a big torta lover.
Torta fan.
Yeah, you know what? That's something that's doable too. We're always happy to add more things to the menu. Like we just added shrimp cocktail, cocktail de camarón. Yeah. And again, we make it there, we don't...
We should have done this part over there too. We should have done this part over there.
Actually, yeah, that would have been a good idea.
Yeah. But that's cool. But also, when it comes to the bar, what do you guys have, like special drinks that you guys also like to expose? Or is there something unique about the drinks that you guys do here? Do you guys incorporate El Paso as well?
Well, Sylena just came up with a spicy margarita.
Well, we called it La Buchona.
Buchona vibes.
Who doesn't love a buchona, right?
Yes.
Right, yes.
I know I do.
Spicy. It's like a buchona. Spicy, robust. She kind of talks back to you, like she's
gonna smack you
she's
back.
feisty. Yeah. She's gonna speak. Yeah.
Damn, dude, you're gonna sleep on the bed after that one.
So, La Buchona, where can we find this again? Midtown Spirits.
At Midtown Spirits. Yeah, 2224 East Yandell, centrally located. And actually, we have a gorgeous view of the Star on the Mountain. So we're like right there, full frontal view of the Star. So another iconic.
Your patio space is also very nice out there. When we went out there for that AM coffee club, I think it was great. People were having a blast. It was 10 a.m. and people were dancing, having their coffee, eating huevos rancheros.
The bar and the outside bar is set up real nice. Your TVs are set up so sick.
Did you notice the rattlesnake in the bar?
Yeah.
Yes, because we have rattlesnakes in El Paso. So there's a rattlesnake right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the 3D mural that you saw out there where Jason Craig set up, right behind him is a 3D mural of Virgen de Guadalupe. But our friend Vegas, shout out to Vegas.
Shout out.
Vegas.
Martin.
Well, that's actually how I address him when I see him.
I'm saying he should have been like a locutor.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like he's got that voice, you know. I don't know.
It sounds like he's like, you know, where you're listening to like the Spanish radio and then it's just come out and they're like, son las 8:25.
That's him. Do it.
Son las 8:25 de la mañana.
He could be ours, dude. He could be ours. You're watching the Takeover Show.
Sonidero.
Sonidero. We should have his voice on here. That's cool. We talked about it. You guys also, you know, have different artists and stuff like that come by. You guys recently had your Battle of the Bands, right?
That's
How do you
correct.
come up with these events? What makes you kind of drive into these types of events?
Once again, it's local, and I got to give a shout out to Jake Baca again. He was a big player in that and a local promoter that goes by the name of Cannibal. What? And so they got the event together.
Perfect place to go for Midtown place. Puro Cannibal.
They started with 9 bands, and we were fortunate to get the last 3, and they were competing for studio time and some cash.
Wow, dude. And it was that same day too, right? That same Sunday that Jason Craig was there. Was you guys had a Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, it was an all-day event
Yeah.
from like 10 a.m. to like 11 p.m. So we were there all day. We were getting our ass kicked, but it's all right.
I was gonna ask from the like, yeah, you see the bar biz and everything, but from an ownership point of view, how mentally stressed were you guys?
Well, pretty stressed. You know, in the morning we had, have to admit, we understaffed. We weren't expecting the draw that everything that was pulled in, but I washed dishes, bus tables, and my daughter Sophia and my wife were serving and taking orders.
Yeah.
And that was good service. We saw everybody have a good time.
Great time.
We saw you walking around. You asked us about 10 times if we needed something, and I was like, dude, should we just say yes?
She tried to introduce you to us like maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
You couldn't. You were like up and down, and I respected. I knew you were like focused in the game.
Yeah, you mentioned
and I have a day job.
Oh wow! So you go from that and then having that. You did mention your daughter. Is this like a family business? Is this something that you kind of want to kind of get your family into and hopefully kind of move on after you guys and keep it going, or how does this look for you?
I mean, we would like for it to become, you know, what kind of synonymous with, you know, just a great bar that people come to know that, oh yeah, Midtown Spirits, that's awesome. You know, I've been going there for years. And
And they'll remember us, and they'll remember our kids.
Yeah, we've had a few people. They ask us all the time, like, "Hey, who do you guys have next?" And there's a few amount of people that we said, "Oh, Midtown Spirits owners are like, oh, really, that place? I love that place." So there's people already that know about your spot. I wanted to ask though, why really into the whole Dia de los Muertos? I know that you guys incorporated our culture with the food and everything, but why Dia de los Muertos? Because that's a very unique thing. I'd never seen a bar like that. Like we talked about, we saw La Llorona with another dude next to her that was Chuy almost started a fight with.
He's
that's
very aggressive.
He was pouring him up. ¿Qué rollo?
That's Juan Pablo.
Juan Pablo, hey!
Think about Ed like that. But
well, we call him Mr. Boner.
hey, Mr. Boner, I'm next.
He's a bony guy.
That's
So
a
we
good
call him
one.
Mr. Boner.
Well, you know, our culture is one of the only cultures that celebrates death, and it's unique to us. We celebrate our lost relatives. We wanted to incorporate that into the feel of the bar, make it feel like something that not only you were comfortable with, but you could relate to.
Right, and that being said, you guys are also trying to get involved with that whole like the scary places, the haunted locations. We had our boy Leon who runs that ghost tours. We had him about a year ago.
Yeah, Leon Baker.
Yeah, Leon Baker. Yeah. So how is that? How are you guys trying to get into that? And how is that gonna work with Midtown Spirits?
Actually, I mean, we've always liked scary movies. You know, we've always had an affinity for like the paranormal. And
I mean, look at her necklace, dude.
I know. I was looking at the swag. Yeah.
I was like, that's sick.
She, you know, he or she's protecting me.
Oh,
I got you. I got you.
Hey,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
And so, I mean, there's just so much haunted history here in El Paso that not very many people know about. You know, you go to New Orleans, you do these ghost tours, you go to other places around the country. But, I mean, there's just so much history here, you know, particularly in the central downtown area. And so that's why we feature brief ghost stories about what happened at the De Soto Hotel, what happened at the Gateway Hotel, the Concordia Cemetery, El Paso High School. And so we kind of just have like a brief description of what makes that particular spot haunted. And people are really drawn to that.
Yeah. You guys, we should introduce them to the Death in a Hoodie podcast. Shout out to them. They actually work at Concordia Cemetery, and so that's why they call themselves the Death in a Hoodie podcast. And they have a great story, man. They've been,
They have some scary.
yeah, they've got some scary stuff. But speaking of scary stuff, being in that building, you know, being, you know, over 75 years old, is that stuff that, you know, happens there? Have you seen? Do you hear Martin? And then like, hey.
But I just shout back, Martin!
Has there been any occasions like that? Any situations?
I personally haven't experienced anything like that, but Martin and a bunch of other people that, you know, they're working there in the morning, they get there a little bit earlier than I do, and, you know, the place is not even open yet, and they hear voices, they see shadows, they, you know, they have experienced some sort of, you know, paranormal activity.
It's Mr. Boner walking around and shit.
Another one.
I haven't seen anything. I think they're scared of me.
Oh, I think it is
Yes.
yelling. It's like, let's not.
Yes. And well, actually, speaking of Leon Baker, we met with him last week, and we have I think at the end of this month, or at the end, I think on Sunday, we're gonna have a paranormal investigation at Midtown. So probably around 9 or 10 p.m. So he wants the place kind of just to himself and 3 other, you know, investigators. And they're going to test out the paranormal activity there with the meters and the equipment that they have.
We got to get Chuy in there and get his reaction. Look at him.
God,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, dude, he would. That's actually pretty creepy, but that's also really cool. What I think it's all the past people that have already passed from Segundo Barrio that are going through, you know, coming back for the tacos or something.
For
you know, I think
sure.
that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Tacos.
They can't find those in the afterlife.
Yeah, exactly. So they're coming back into Midtown Spirits.
And then talking about the Midtown Spirits location and everything, we have a fan. His name's Danny. He asked us to ask you guys to find out why you guys decided that building in that place.
Well, we had been looking for a building. It came up. It was historic. It was on its own. We didn't want to be down in the Piedras area by the other buildings. And so we just chose it. It was the end of COVID, so it was a little tough. But we've worked hard, and it's picking up. You know, it's a unique concept. You don't walk in and see Bud Light neons and beer neons. You see prints and artwork and celebration of the dead, the Dia de los Muertos, because El Paso is a beautiful, wonderful city, and people always want to move out of El Paso. Not everyone, but
right.
I love El Paso. I don't want to move here. This is my home. I left for school. I came back, and I've never wanted to leave. I tell everybody it's God's country right here.
Yeah, and you know what? I've said it in so many podcasts. I think, and I was one of them growing up where it's like, nothing goes on in El Paso, nothing happens. I can't wait to move out, and I ended up moving out. I moved out and lived in San Antonio for a little bit. And as I got older, I always thought, like, damn, we're top 20th biggest, most populated city. We're bigger than like Atlanta and all these.
But San Antonio's full of artificial Mexicanos.
No, yeah, that's why I came back, dude.
Oh,
That's why I came back.
They're like Splenda Mexicanos. We got the sugar.
We're like the Coke, the Coca-Cola with actual sugar.
Right.
You know?
We're in the glass bottle.
Wait, are we still boycotting that shit?
I don't know.
Is that what's going on? Didn't you guys hear about that?
No.
Like the Mexican people, something happened where like
They called Coca-Cola factory in some states called ICE on their own employees.
Oh yeah, and then
Mexico
so
started striking.
yeah,
Oh,
and then it's funny because you see videos of like grown men like, hey, are we still boycotting these guys or what? Necesito mi Coca-Cola.
And then you see like the grown man crying, like drinking Pepsi.
Yeah, drinking Pepsi
No,
and stuff.
and that's what I love about living here. You know, there's people that we meet when we go on vacation and we talk about where we live and like, ooh, El Paso, ooh. And I'm like, no, you need to go and visit. Like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The food, the women.
The food,
What
the
else is
women,
there?
yes, the
The
weather,
drinking.
the
The
people,
weather.
everything.
The ghost, La Llorona, dude. I thought it was my sister when I was little, dude. No, it
La
wasn't her.
Llorona.
I thought that's what they were talking about. But this is what we're gonna do. We're getting close to almost 30 minutes. Time is going by so quick. But before we do go on a quick break, can you guys look into this camera right here and let everybody know where they could follow you, your locations, websites, anything like that?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram page. It's called Midtown Spirits EPTX. You guys can follow us there. We're gonna have a whole roster of upcoming events. We are gonna work with pachucos and lowriders, so we're gonna have them over. We haven't set a date, but I'm actually gonna meet with them tomorrow, and we're gonna go over some events, possible dates. So just stay tuned because I mean we have food specials, drink specials, and we have all kinds of events. So stay tuned. Oh, and Facebook too.
So on Facebook, guys, you guys will have all the links at the bottom here below. Guys, they represent and they love the culture of El Paso. They are El Paso, so make sure you guys are following, subscribing, keep in contact, keep looking into their sites to see what's going on. When we come back, I kind of want to get more into a little bit more about your location. I want to know what the future looks like for you guys, and I think we have a couple of trending topics that we want to get into with you guys. But you guys already know. Make sure you guys are following, subscribing, and liking. And guys, we'll be right back right after this. Oh, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another awesome episode here at the Takeover Show. Once again, please go shout out to our partners here at Genuine Reference Studios. Guys, I got to start off the second half by apologizing, Chuy. And I'm gonna be mad at you after they leave here today. I mispronounced their last name, dude.
You know what?
Fuera.
Jesus Christ.
You
dude,
know what?
how
I
embarrassing.
think what's gonna happen is La Llorona is
No! No!
La Llorona te va a agarrar. Sí.
No.
She's gonna get you in the sheets, man.
Right, no, dude, no.
¿Dónde está mi hijo? ¿Dónde está mi hijo?
Pícame el culo porque el corazón ya no puedo. Ay, no. But no, guys, it's Sylena and Randy Ortega.
Eso, eso.
Get that shit right.
Eso.
Don't listen to me, all right? I'll make sure to edit it, but I truly apologize for that, guys. I truly apologize. But during this break, we should have kept recording, man. We started talking a bit more, finding out a little bit more, and had some modelos kick in already. But talking more into it, what was very cool and something that we could relate to. Our boy here, Randy, is from Canutillo originally. Right. I have family. I currently live in Canutillo, and he asked me
live
like
in Canutillo proper.
Yeah. He's all like, hey, you old Canutillo, you must live in the new Canutillo. And he's like, what street? 4th Street. And he's like, all right, you're good. I checked in, dude. I checked in. He was about to leave, bro. I was like, oh shit.
As soon as you told him 4th, you said, oh, okay.
He's like, yeah, what street? 2nd? And I was like, no, dude, 4th, dog. 4th Street. But I mean, growing up in Canutillo, a lot has changed. What other routes? I was telling you guys, Canutillo is that place, especially old Canutillo. And I tell this to everybody. I love waking up in the mornings and still hearing roosters. Yeah. Like your neighbor's rooster, seeing the dogs in the street. You say, hey, good morning, dog. But that's Canutillo for you, right? Yeah. The old school Canutillo. How was that upbringing for you in that area?
It was fabulous.
You were telling us the stories about Canutillo, your Canutillo high school time.
It was a little poor, but you know what, dude? We had the river. Nobody has the river anymore.
That's crazy, huh?
We could go partying at the river, fire, food, drinks, smoke.
Bring that shit back, dude.
Bring that shit back. That's
Bring that shit back. Now there's not even water in the river, dude. Se acabó
He was
todo
telling me
seco.
KLAQ had done
a river raft race.
Oh, they did.
Have you heard of Quiet Riot?
No, I haven't.
They played on the river.
Oh,
Damn, bro.
on the way, dude. We got to start something like that.
Not on the river.
Where can we get the water?
Levee.
Where do we get the water?
So we got to bring that back. Party on the river.
Hey,
Cheers.
party on the river. Party on the river. Everybody's invited.
And how did you know this was one of my favorite beers, by the way?
You know what? When people come in, we just know it. You know, actually,
We used to swim in that river.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, my dad, my dad's side of the family is from Canutillo, and when I was little, and so is my grandparents from my mom's side. But when I was little, hang out with my dad, we would go from Vinton up to Canutillo, and we would go under a bridge, and we would just fucking chill in there and jump in the water.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
While he's fishing, you know, like
That's
fucking
cool.
bring. That's how we would get our new shoes. He would find shoes in the fucking river. He's like, I got you some, Misa. You know, like, no sea mamon.
New Vikings.
I was like, hey. It's from the 60s. But speaking of going back, we were talking more about like that location and the history about it. There's a lot of history. It used to be the Peanut, the Surf Club. What else it used to be?
Pine Nut. It
The
was the
Pine
Pine
Nut.
Nut,
The
yeah.
Peanut.
The
Chuy,
peanut.
I told you, Pine Nut, North Shore slash
North Shore Cafe.
North Shore Cafe.
North Shore Cafe.
Surf Club.
And then the surf club.
Yeah, so that building was actually, well, I guess the last business that was there, which was North Shore, right?
I think so.
Okay, so it had been 10 years after they closed. It had been 10 years that,
Vacant without being used.
yeah,
That location.
completely
Wow.
vacant.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how all the ghosts moved in, Chuy.
Yeah, I think so. And somebody told me, you know, when a building goes vacant, when it becomes vacant for a long stretch of time, then spirits just kind of like
Move in. He's like,
infiltrate
hey
the
guys, I
area.
found a place. Come on in. Yeah, that's crazy. But also being so old, you showed us a picture of a cash register that's from like the 1930s that you guys have in your office.
Yes.
How did that get into you guys' hand? That picture looked awesome. We'll pop it up right here for you guys to see what we're talking about. But that's such a cool little thing to have. How did that? Does it still work, or how does that go?
One of our customers, one of our regulars, Ceci, she came over and she gave me the cash register that belonged to the Pine Knot, who happens to be her grandfather.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn.
So
Yes.
it's crazy because it still kind of holds a part of the history of that building, you know, from when it was Pine Nut. And now you guys have that cash register that was used.
Right.
And if you guys look at it, this is like old school. This is a whole old school.
Yeah.
Is that the one like ching and then the shit
No,
comes out?
this is
You
the
know,
one
like,
that you have to push the buttons down.
Yes.
it looks like one of those old typers, right?
You'll post a photo. of
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
we'll post
Back
a
when
photo up
cash
here.
was king.
So thank you to Ceci
Thank you, Sassy. Thank you.
Does it still
and her husband Raul Perez.
Hey, but I gotta say, why have it in your office? Why not bring it out for the
You know,
people to
it's
see?
really heavy, so I need someone to build me a really, hefty shelf. And
We'll find somebody at Home Depot to do that shit for you.
Yo,
ASAP.
yo,
Hey, Theo, let's go.
does it happen to still work or not? It's just done.
I don't know if it still works. I mean, it's a really antique.
He's from
beautiful.
Canutillo. I heard his whistle.
Oh yeah.
Las- las manos, güey.
See? Same whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
same
neighbor
with
the
it.
other day. He's like, "Hey, Misa." And
No,
I was
that's-
like, "Oh shit, trash
that's-
day. You're right. Thank you, sir."
Yeah. Actually, that's how our cats know when it's time to eat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's like, and he does that. Do it again. There.
Tengo hambre, güey. Ya me dio hambre, güey.
I know, dude. I know. But that's so cool. The whole cash. I'm a big fan of history. You know, growing up, I've always loved history. But what's crazy is I didn't really get into our own city's history until I was older. You know, it's just never interested me. Like I said earlier, it was just something that I wanted to get out of here. Nothing cool happened here. But El Paso is so rich in history. I always wish, and I've said it before, every El Paso high school or even middle school should have like a certain class where they just tell you about the history of our city. And that's going to make people kind of really appreciate our city more and maybe even, start doing stuff and open up places like Midtown Spirits. But El Paso has a lot of great history. And so moving on, as we were talking, you did mention here, Randy, that you had a full-time job, like doing this. I know that Sylena does most of the job, like you said. You call her daddy or whatever.
Yes.
Or boss,
Yeah.
But that's cool. If I may ask, what job do you have that's your full-time job?
I'm a lawyer downtown. I've done a lot of federal criminal work. I do some civil litigation, but mostly a lot of federal criminal.
Jesus, and how do you find the time to do all this? That must be dedication and love for this whole bar industry and restaurant.
It's a love and dedication for Midtown because Midtown is it's different. you know, we have Bourbon and Brew on the east side. It's kind of a traditional sports bar, but Midtown is special. Midtown is something that's different, something that's unique, and something that embraces El Paso and its culture.
Sheesh, congratulations. I mean, respect, dude. Yeah. Did you plan that? Did you have them like rehearse that? Wow.
Yeah. I saw his watch go off a little bit. Just kidding. And like you said, Midtown, for when you said that, I feel like Midtown will never change, bro. It's just gonna upgrade, and people are gonna want to like stay in the hood or like the neighborhood and just.
I think it's something that anybody could really. I mean, if you're truly from El Paso, you could totally relate to that location, either from the drink to the art to the food
to the star.
So I'll tell you,
Exactly.
you know, in El Paso, if I think of 3 restaurants, the one I want to be mentioned next to is the Good Luck Cafe,
Yeah.
L&J's, and Midtown Spirits.
Bravo.
Hey, whenever you think about El Paso, soon you will be thinking about Midtown Spirits. Just how you, like you said, you know, L&J's and that's cool. That's a great mentality to have, you know.
That's a
but
great goal, actually.
yeah. And I was gonna ask. I know that we talked a little bit more when it goes into your job. You mentioned something that you were probably the first El Pasoan to do what? To do a delegate? What was that?
No, I don't know if I was the first, but I've argued in front of the United States Supreme Court twice.
Oh shit! What you argue about, dude? The prices of fucking.
Why the eggs are so expensive?
The boycotting of Coke.
¿Qué pasó?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, Jesus Christ.
Pepsi, get your game together.
That's I mean that's cool. How long have you been doing this for? Is this
27 years.
Whoa. I was 3 years
Damn,
old.
Chuy, it's almost as old as you, Chuy. Damn,
Sí,
Chuy, you're a
mijo.
baby. Mijo.
Voy a venir a la oficina.
Tío, déjeme, tío. But I wanted to ask, we were getting into it and going back since the 1930s, how have you seen the neighborhood evolve into the 2020? Into the 2020?
You're talking about Canutillo?
No, Midtown.
I mean, it's been on for 3 years. I mean, obviously, you've seen. Been around.
Well, we've seen it grow in terms of business thanks to Sylena, and I think she's there daily.
Yeah, there's a lot of events happening. There's a lot of activity that we want to include. Like I said, there's local artists, there's musicians, DJs, poets.
Yeah, you guys have a lot going on. That's what I like. Actually, you guys were talking about your latest event when you had some bands come through.
Yeah,
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had 3 bands playing that day. So Bootsy is one of them. And we had him at Midtown about a month ago, and everybody like adored him. Everybody was just like rocking out to him. He has a very unique sound. I like it. Everybody else seems to like it because they asked him back. And he just played with Hot Shot Kicks, Kicks,
Great band.
and Bipolar. And all 3 of them were amazing.
They were fabulous.
I mean, they
Shout
were
out to
all
them.
very.
Killed it.
They were very talented, and so that's what we're trying to do is generate this space for everybody to showcase and exhibit their art, their talent.
Yeah.
Anything can be a comedian that wants to do stand-up comedy.
Hey, all our
Anything.
comics, y'all know, man.
Tap in,
Midtown,
tap in.
You
Midtown
always
Spirits
have
is
a
open.
venue.
Yeah.
You guys do have some other events coming up. You did mention the lowriders and stuff as well. April 23rd, there's something going on. There's May 4th. Tell us what's the plans for April 23rd. What's going on for April 23rd?
So Cannibal, the individual that we just talked about earlier, she was the one who has. Well, she's a promoter, and so she's the one who's really kind of bringing all these artists in. And again, it's gonna be $8, but we're not charging anybody to play there. So, like I said, when we mean that we want to showcase your art, that's what we mean. Like, we're not going to charge you.
And you know what? Is like, you know, interviewed so many artists and comedians. That's always like a big struggle, right? Obviously, in order for you to get experience and get better, you want to have these events. You want to show off in front of people and have that. But the whole money thing comes into place, right? And I feel like that in some situations hold them back and really exposing their music. So I really hats off to you guys for doing that. So if you're an artist, coming up artist, or anybody in you know, comics, poets, like you guys said,
We're going to have like tequila, taco tasting as well. You know,
Tell us about that. That's what I want to know about.
If you're an upcoming artist,
I did want to
Showtime.
tell you when there are special events, the restaurant there's no cover to get in the restaurant or the bar.
Okay.
That's out separate out on the patio.
So for
nobody
you to
needs
see
be
the event is separate than like just wanting to hang out and eat. You know, you don't have to during those times. You don't have to pay to really get it into Midtown Spirits. Man,
I'll tell you though, this is the first event because we have there's a promoter putting it on. But every event we've had has been free. Yeah, we don't charge for any event.
That's awesome. Another hat.
I had a question on the events. Did I hear lowriders?
yeah, actually, so we don't have a set date, but I am working with someone right now who is really amenable to putting on a really great, like spectacular show at Midtown. And it's going to include lowriders and the pachucos and it's artisans and vendors, but it's really going to be kind of like an education, a celebration, entertaining thing to watch.
Yeah, it's all about culture with it. That's awesome.
There's a whole variety of things that they're going to offer. And so really I want to bring what represents our culture to Midtown and really kind of also remind the public. You know, I think that some kids, you know, growing up as well, I don't think that they're really well in touch with their roots, you know what I mean? And so especially if, you know, your grandmother, your mother, you know, they were Mexican, it's very, very important to kind of, you know, go with that tradition. I mean, just follow that tradition and maintain.
Or even at least just knowing about it, you know, like I know as time goes by, you know, people change, cultures change, you know, technology changes. But I think something that should always at least be remembered is a culture, you know, because if you still have that culture in mind and expose it, then there's still going to be those people that grow up and still follow that same culture and then it'll never die.
Mm-hmm. Traditions.
Yeah, that's awesome. But going back really quick, what's going on with the tacos and tequila tasting? How is that going to work?
yeah.
Where can people find it? Or what's the plan for all that?
So again, we have a tentative date. I'm going to post all of the events that are going to be, you know, confirmed and solidified. I'm going to put them on the Instagram post and Facebook. And so yeah, I want to do a tequila and tacos tasting. So we have a variety of different tacos, and we have so much tequila that I'm like, well, let's try to pair, you know, like brisket tacos with, you know, a darker tequila, maybe an añejo, you know, we do a cristal, and we just kind of pair them, just kind of have fun.
Chuy's so hungry right now, he's losing weight.
Yes.
That's good. I mean, that's awesome.
You're getting smaller. You look smaller.
Tacos and tequila. I mean,
Yeah.
if you say tacos, you think about El Paso. You say tequila, you think about El Paso, our Mexican culture.
Yeah, so
I think that's a great mix.
like with our rolled green tacos, you know, and you know, green, so good, drenched in cheese. The salsa's made fresh every single day, and you can get them with potato or ground beef or chicken. You choose the sauce. We have red or green. But anyway, so that's what I mean. It's just like the different variety of tacos. He's leaving now.
Bring me some, Chuy. Bring me some, please.
He's going. He's leaving. He's like, ya me voy.
Both.
Yeah. But, you know, it's there's a lot of exciting things coming up. And so we're really, really looking forward to it.
And I'm happy for you guys. But talking about the food and the tacos, how did the green sauce come about? Because I always see red everywhere. That's the first time I hear green.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that, you know, Martin! I know. Is he really, I mean, obviously, you know, him directing kind of the menu on this. Is this something that you guys also kind of incorporate? Or is Martin somebody that, you know, kind of puts everything, the menu together and you guys just go along with it?
He's the main cook. You know, he's had years of experience, and so he's good at what he does. He's great at what he does. And so he knows exactly how much to order and what to order and how to make it and how to prep and how to, you know, also train all our cooks. And our cooks are, you know, I mean, our cooks aren't delicious.
Pinche Martin.
Martin, not only your food is delicious, but you're delicious, bro. Hey, if you're not delicious,
I have not tasted. I will not taste my cooks, but I love the way that they cook.
You could tell. So you're saying you could really tell, like, what's made by Martin and what's not made by Martin. I mean, from what I read about him too, I mean, going back to his grandma and all that, obviously from Segundo Barrio as well, he's lived through that culture. He's, you know, it's part of his family. So
Absolutely.
having him in your kitchen, I think, if anything, is probably the best idea to do for Midtown Spirits.
And what's great is that I think that some of us who have had some sort of connection to Don Ben's Tacos, you know, my connection is that my grandfather spent a great deal of time in Segundo Barrio. He lived in the Segundo Barrio for a while, and so he's 91 years old, and he's still with us.
He's still around?
Yeah.
Sáquese la receta también.
Hey!
Hi, Ito. His name is Ito. Abuelito.
Abuelito. Shout out to Abuelito, man. Shout out to all the abuelitos, dude. Especially if they're from Segundo Barrio. Hit up Midtown Spirits, guys.
Midtown Spirits. And talking about Midtown Spirits, when I was on my way to the back, kind of saw something on the wall that I was like, a la madre. Because I'm not, like you said, I don't
He's
really
a little
see
bitch.
this. Yeah, I'm a little bitch. I saw La Ouija on the wall.
Yes.
How does that come around?
Well, it's part of the scary theme at Midtown. It's part of the theme is scary. It's culture. It's El Paso. It's also haunted places, but it's also a celebration of spirits and life and death. But with the Ouija board, well, it's just another symbol that's
Spooky.
So
I thought it was gangster, to be honest. I was like, it's pretty fucking cool.
honestly, I found some Ouija board cutting boards, and so I thought this is a great idea. Let's serve the tacos on there, and if people want to conjure spirits while they're eating,
Why not, dude? Take a tequila shot first.
They moved the salsa around.
Yeah,
you hear my
exactly.
beep in the back.
It's solamente decoración. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Es esa parte, that's a part. So I just really want the spooky theme to be there, but I want there to be this kind of like history behind El Paso and the haunted areas.
You effing nailed it, because I believe, and I'm 100%, you had La Santa Muerte there as well.
La Santa Muerte as well.
We do.
Yes. And she's also a figure. She's a figure of Mexico. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that during the break, and Chuy was explaining about over in his family.
I shout out to todos los compas in Jalisco. When I would go out there as a teenager, I would spend my summers there, and they had like a bar, a Mariscos bar, like a shrimp bar, whatever. But once you go around the back, it's their house. So like it's a front, But you go past this curtain, and once you pass that curtain, you start smelling different. You see the candles like in a trail, and it's leading up. And I was telling them there'd be a black Santa Muerte.
Yeah.
And I had never seen a black Santa Muerte. Can you explain what the black Santa Muerte means?
Well, it's for protection, and I think it's for, really seeking things that you want in life. But I think that what Santa Muerte represents is that the only one universal truth is death. Death for us, death for the sun, death for the universe, death comes to everything. And so if you think about it, then in a way, I hope that it helps us appreciate that every breath we breathe brings us closer to death.
Yeah, we start dying the minute we're born.
Yeah. So if you keep that in mind, then hopefully you live a happier life.
we were born to die.
Memento mori, right? Is that the kind of saying that says remember your mortality, right? Remember that you will die.
Yeah,
that everybody's gonna die eventually, and damn, Chuy, we're gonna die one day.
It's gonna happen, bro. And you know what? Sometimes we gotta accept it, like before you freak out and it comes.
But first, we gotta have some tacos and tequila from Midtown fucking Spirits, dude. That's what we gotta have. I love what you guys are doing, and it seems like you guys already kind of have a visual of what you want for Midtown Spirits. How do you see yourself? So what do you see Midtown Spirits maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Is there a vision that you guys have that eventually you want for Midtown Spirits?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, again, we really want to be recognized and kind of maintain this momentum that we have right now. We want to be recognized as an establishment, a bar, a community place that people can come together, you know, and just showcase, again, their talent, their art, and really have it become a venue where everybody's open to just entertain.
Right. Awesome.
And the food, you know, really just kind of maintain also that the recipes, the food, and have them, you know, passed down. So yeah, I mean, we really, really look forward. We're very excited for all these events that are coming up, and you know, the new people that we're getting in every day, and this opportunity here with you guys. So, you know, it's people like you really that help businesses grow and get the word out there for them. And so thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And you know what? Right off the bat, when we spoke to you that day, in which we, you know, that I really looked up to, is just like the drive. Like I knew right away, you know, how you spoke, and you brought up Segundo Barrio, and you were telling us your story. Meeting these artists and business owners and athletes One thing that I've found for people that are very dedicated, they eventually end up going far, but because they truly believe in what they're doing. And I see that from you guys, and that's great. I think El Paso needs a place like Midtown Spirits, you know, to keep that culture going, but not just through the drinks or the art, but the food. You know, food here in El Paso is very important. You know, like you said earlier, I went to San Antonio, and you're right, that shit ain't real Mexican.
No.
That shit ain't real Mexican food. No, I'm not talking shit about San Antonio, right? Randy was.
First go, but
But if you got some problem, I got a lawyer in hand, doggy. But that's awesome. I'm very excited for what you guys are doing. I'm glad that we got to meet and get you guys on. What I want to do is, I know that we were talking earlier. I want to show the people here kind of like the behind the scenes. I want to meet Martin. I want people to see the food. And so we want to plan out something. But what I want to do too as well is whenever we do plan this vlog and video, I want to bring over as many people as possible. So that way you guys could also experience it with us. That day that we went, we were there and, you know, we had some coffee and stuff. We weren't able to try out the food. We had plans, you know, to go to other places. But now speaking more in detail about how it's made and what it represents, we totally want to go ahead and try it out. And we want to bring you guys with us. What we want to do is the first 4 people that comment me on this episode, on this post, I want you guys to first 4 comment me. We're gonna go ahead and bring you guys with us, and we'll pay for all the food and your drinks. We guys want everybody, as many people to come out and try out.
right behind you.
That's so cool.
Give it
Chuy.
a shot, guys. Honestly, it's a fucking vibe there. I'm sorry for my English, but the food. Once you go to the patio, even going into the restroom down the hall, like just the whole experience I'd never even seen here in El Paso. If I'm being 100.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I've
Thank
seen
you.
it in Juarez only, and to see it here,
Yeah.
shit, quiero ir otra vez.
Vamos a ir otra vez. We got to.
Vámonos.
We got to.
Caliente.
I know I had asked you guys this, and we also talked about it during our break. You know, being now, you know, in my mid 30s, I've experienced, you know, bars and stuff like that, and you see bars come and go, restaurants come and go. What is the challenge of owning a bar? Like, what do you think is something that, you know, is a challenge here in El Paso to own a bar or even a restaurant? Why do you guys think that, you know, maybe bars close down here and there?
But
Not to get too political, of course.
No, but you know, I think the biggest downfall for local places are chains. You know, Chili's and Applebee's,
Right.
and people get used to going to those places, and they forget about local. We try to eat exclusively local.
Oh,
We
okay.
do. And we try to
We should do
I
that.
mean, we still get-
Instead of shop local, we should like eat local.
No, we still get like Peter Piper, you know. But
yeah,
we'll
Peter
go.
Piper's good.
Well,
local.
we love. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but almost
but local. I mean, like Ardovinos, you know, that's local.
Right.
We like when to Cafe Italia, you know.
any place that's locally owned, we try to eat at. And even places that open. There was a Big Bear Burger on Mesa, and so we went to the Big Bear Burger and we ate there, so we could say that, you know, we ate there.
Yeah, supporting local is very, very important. You know, we're not just here, you know, so that people can try to get to know more about Midtown. But I mean, also we kind of pay the favor in kind, you know, or not favor, but it's just really supporting local and helping out your community, and you see everything else thriving around you. So, yeah.
I like that, and you know what? I'm gonna take notes, and I'm gonna start doing that too. I'm just, you know, fuck the food chains.
I know. Chuy just had like Little Caesars earlier.
I could have got. Yeah, you know what? I'm out.
I was all like,
Why'd you gotta put me on the spot?
I mean, you like what you like, but you know, it's great to have a balance. You know,
Yeah.
maybe like a 50-50. You know, like
It's the only thing that's around the corner of McDonald's. So I was like,
I mean, occasionally
Yeah,
I'll still.
Malinche.
yeah, that's true.
I didn't have time though.
So he says. You know, before we kind of go towards the end of this pod, I do want to give a couple of shout outs here. There's a bunch of other podcasts that, you know, we would love you guys to meet. You know, they do what we do, and they try to expose also the best of El Paso in their own different ways. To start off with, shout out to the Buzz Podcast. These guys are awesome. I think it was Jules' birthday not too long ago. Turned 65. Old ass dude. Shout out to him, and I think Cujo is about 2-3 years older than and they're still doing their shit. So shout out to those old dudes.
I got you a new walker, vato.
Shout out to those old guys. And speaking of old guys, shout out to the president of the Rhinos, Corey Heon. He has a Crash Course podcast as well. If you know him, you're gonna think he's the coolest guy. He's a little extreme, but only because he's taking a lot of hits to the head. You can see the bump on there and his head and shit. But all love, guys, all love. Shout out to those. There's a bunch of other podcasts as well. Shout out to them. But before we do get towards the end, Chuy, do we have any trending topics that maybe we could bring up today or not today, Chuy?
I do, but if I can jump into one more thing, what we like to do is, since we're all part of the community, if you guys could look into that camera right there, we call this borderline uplift. If you can give the community 1 to 30 minutes of advice
Or motivation. Some advice
for the youth.
Well, I think everybody who's in the El Paso area, I think that we all need to lift each other up through education, through knowledge, through wisdom, and to keep the roots of our culture moving forward in a good way, and to break the stereotypes that so many people have about Mexican Americans and our culture in general.
Nice.
Eso es. Exactamente.
Sin miedo al éxito.
Yep.
Sin miedo al éxito. That's so good, dude. Chuy, now let's go ahead and do this. We do have a segment here. It's called Saca el Chisme, and it's hosted by my boy Chuy. Chuy, what's going on in our city?
The crazy part is, I don't know, talking about community love. I don't know if you guys are accustomed to this one local artist. She not randomly, but she worked her ass off and got and earned El Paso Day. So she earned Little Miss Crystal Poppin, got herself her own day.
Yeah, Crystal Poppin. This was in January. She got a Crystal Poppin Day. I think
January 27th of 2020.
Nice. And that's amazing. I mean, another amazing artist emerging from El Paso. So I find that it'd be absolutely just remarkable, because I mean, we have Khalid and we have
Cesar Soto from Ministry.
Cesar Soto from Ministry. Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. And you know what? She's popping off. Crystal popping. She's popping off. Lately, she's touring. I just saw she's gonna be on an event here in downtown. There's gonna be some big artists coming through, and she's gonna be a part of it as well. So if you're a Crystal Popping fan, Crystal, I know you're watching, girl. I know you're watching, and we've talked. Get on our show, girl. Please get on our show. We'll take you to Midtown Spirits for some tacos and tequila.
Let's go. Let's do it.
That's so cool.
Another one where details have not been dropped, and it's a little crazy, but are you guys familiar with the accident that happened with the lady when she was driving to Juarez?
No.
Oh, the Uber driver?
Yeah, that Uber driver. Yeah.
Killed him.
So the story was, there's an Uber. This lady, she wasn't from town, and she asked for an Uber. I think she was going to Speaking Rock. She was going somewhere. Got an Uber, and then as she was driving, she saw the sign going to Juarez, Mexico, and freaked out and shot the driver. The driver ended up dying, unfortunately, and so her trial had been moved up for a while, and we just find out that she passed away.
So shout out.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh no.
Fit Fam dropped the breaking news. Her name was Phoebe.
Shout out Fit Fam, dude. Shout out Fit Fam. Like Chuy said, they're coming in deep and they're coming hard with no fucks given, right?
The Paso Uber driver Daniel Piedra Garcia was found dead in her hotel room. She failed to appear at court hearings. Copas has been awaiting her murder since 2023, where she shot Garcia as he drove down, like how he said, towards the border highway. And today she was found dead, and it has not been disclosed yet.
That is crazy, bro. That is fucking crazy.
So,
I wonder how FitFam gets their news, dude.
You know, I think that's the community.
Yeah.
People in the community see it, they report it to them.
Fucking, we're all chismosos, dude. We don't have cameras out here. We have our moms looking out the window.
And I think they report a lot of stuff that the mainstream news doesn't report.
And that's true. That's true. I mean, you're not gonna see all these bad stuff that's going on in our city on the main news. But FitFam, I love FitFam, dude. I love FitFam.
But the fact that she was found dead in her room, bro.
Sketchy, dude. It's a little sketchy.
What's going on?
What's going on? I know why, dude. They didn't go to Midtown Spirits. So what I want to do here, guys, is there anything else that you would like for our audience to know about Midtown Spirits? We did talk about up and coming events. We talked about your food, your drinks. Is there anything that we're leaving out?
Parking.
Oh, that is true.
That's the sexiest part about Midtown Spirits is that you have your own parking.
You hear that, guys? No more parking down the street. No more
parking meters.
Parking meters, dude. I never paid for those parking meters. I'm just kidding, El Paso City. I'm kidding.
So I think I just want the community to know they have a place to go. Local artists of any variety. They have a place to go that doesn't charge any booking fees, and we'll embrace any local artist that wants to display their work there.
Awesome. You guys heard it. Man. And it's rare to find a place like that. To be honest, I can't think right off the bat, off my head, what other business does this. I'm sure there's other business that do events and
we cater.
And they cater.
And we cater as well.
So we didn't have to go over there.
We can bring it to you. We actually
is there DoorDash or like Uber for
DoorDash,
that for your
Uber? Yeah. So
DoorDash and Uber Eats.
Hey, all my fellow gorditos.
Yeah.
You know where to hit.
Guys, like I said, we'll have all the links here at the bottom below. Don't miss out. I'm telling you, don't miss out. Don't forget me. And we'll get you guys in.
So the Junior League of El Paso, they asked us to cater on their last event for the Christmas fair. And so if they've already asked for catering, how come you guys haven't?
Oh, Chuy, why? Because you want your fucking Little Caesars. That's why I beat you, Chuy.
Salud. Little Caesars is so good. Salud.
But all that being said, guys, what I want to do is I want to go around this table. I want us to give our final words here. I want to start off with a tortanator, Mr. Chuy here. Chuy, final words for you, dog.
First of all, I want to thank both of you for taking your time coming out of here, putting me personally on some history of El Paso. So now I know like where to go, what to find out, and I'm gonna spread the word to my people. And I hopefully you guys grow to where there's an east side, west side location, and you guys are known as, like how you said, in the top 3 categories.
And fucking Chuy is getting better at this. You know, I always say this before he'd be like, "Thank you for coming." Yeah, it's ese güey.
But estás expresando más.
Sí, ahora no se calla el güey. But final words for you, Randy.
Well, thank you guys for having us on. Thank you to everybody in the city who supports us, and thank you to El Paso, man. I love this city.
Yeah.
And now, final words for you, Miss Sylena.
Well, thank you so much for coming to our event the last time, which is where I met you guys. So it's great that we're actually seeing, younger and, newer people coming in and patronizing our place. So thank you so much for providing us a space to really talk about not only our business, but our love for the borderland. Yep. So thank you so much for having us.
Now, we might be new, but we ain't young, dog. My back is hurting like a motherfucker.
Yeah, right?
Now. I was just thinking, we got to get some new chairs, dog. Dude, what the fuck? Dude, my knees hurt and I'm sitting down. How the fuck does that work, Chuy?
Yes,
I don't know.
I kind of felt like a little bit awkward a little bit. I was like,
yeah, dude, we're gonna get that fixed and we'll bring you guys back. We'll get like some lazy boys for you guys. You guys could put your feet back and everything.
Oh, and that's another thing. So some of our chairs, we specifically bought casino grade chairs that are just meant to be comfy for you to sit in.
So you'll never leave.
So you never leave. That's okay.
Another one.
The spirits will devour you.
Yeah. They'll hold you down.
And
too.
I'm not talking about the paranormal ones. I'm talking about Jack Daniels, Jim Beam.
Shout out to Jack Daniels, man.
My favorite.
It's a conjuring of spirits.
That's awesome. Well, once again, final words for me is I really appreciate you guys coming through. I was so glad. Shout out to our boy DJ Jason Craig, for inviting us there. We had a great time and we got to meet you guys, and it's awesome. I have
to say also thank you to Victoria Sinclair, because she's the one that also hooked me up with Jason Craig, and she kind of helped make this event happen as well. So
damn, shout out Victoria.
Awesome, guys. I want to wish you the best of luck. You guys, there's always an open door here at the Takeover Show for you guys. If you guys ever want to come back at any time, let us know. I can't wait to go and experience your food and your drinks on this vlog. Hopefully, a lot of you guys could join us as well. Once again, man, I wish you guys the best. This was a really good episode. I feel that we could have gone on for like 5-6 hours. This is great. The fact that you're from Canotillo, bro. Oh, not me, man. 5-6 minutes is all it takes. That's all it takes, dude. All right. But all that being said, guys, you guys make sure you guys are following, subscribing, and liking. One more time, big old shout out to Genuine Reference Studios. For all you guys out there, make sure you guys are following, subscribing, and liking. And make sure you guys are all safe out there. And most importantly, y'all make sure to stay fresh.
Shots at Midtown Spirits.
Out.